Today, we are going to make some grass. No, I'm not in Colorado, so it's not going to be that kind of grass. It's our techniques that are so simple and sensible, your moms would practically build themselves.
Hello folks, it's Mad Dog Mervin. Welcome to today's show. Today we are going to be looking at some bases for figures. Now, I feel very embarrassed because I should have thought of this years ago, but I didn't. And it wasn't until I started doing Warhammer figures that the light went on. Oh, I could use these bases for other things besides just the Warhammer figures. How about that? So, today I am going to show you about using these bases, how I am going to be using these bases for not just my Warhammer figures, but for other figures that I have. So stick with Mad Dog Merv as we talk about bases for figures. So the first thing I wanted to do is go over, I have a bunch of these that were gifted to me, and I mean a bunch of these. No divot tool in there, just the little tube. But you see how dirty this is, but it keeps the dust and whatnot off my figures, and I can actually display them. But there's a problem. The base that the figures is on, this one isn't horrible, but I have others that are. This one here, let's drop it, shall we? So this one here, you can see I just cut a piece of plastic and painted it and put a couple little, pieces of foam on it. And I mean, it's okay, but I can do a lot better. So recently I started painting a bunch of Warhammer figures for my son, and I actually started doing some for myself. And I realized, oh, these are really cool figure bases. They've got bigger sizes. I bet I could use one or two or three or 50 for my figures that really could use a nice base. So I went to Amazon and I purchased these. Now, if you go to the Wargaming store, they're going to cost you a fortune. I'm just telling you. I think I paid, what, 10, 15 bucks, if that, with the shipping off of Amazon. And these are 40 millimeter, which is a little bit bigger base. They also have the smaller, I can't remember what these are. These aren't the 32, these are smaller than that. But anyway, these are actual Game Workshop, which is nice, but they're expensive. Cheap, right up my alley. And they'll work great for 25th scale figures, 35th scale figures, 48 scale figure, whatever you got. So, and there's 100 of them. 100 of them in here. And I'm going to show you how I'm going to do these up, or some of these up. But I'm also going to show you guys the stuff that I'm going to use for the bases. And I've got this toolbox that I'm going to take into the office in my house because it's getting to be winter time out here. And that means, well, my acrylic paints will solidify and not work so well. And, I get cold in my fingers, so probably a good idea to move in the house. So I'm going to pack my stuff into this box. I'll show you the stuff that I'm going to use for my basing. Now, this isn't just for Warhammer. This is for any of these bases I'm going to make. And we're going to pack up that box, show you what's in it, and we're going to do one of these bases real quick. So let's get going.
Okay, so you can see, yeah, it's dirty. It's been sitting out here under my other paint box, but it's cleared out, ready to go. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start putting in here some of the basing materials. For example, here's a nice dark green turf. It's really fine, and I want mostly finer stuff. Here is some fine, just scattered grit. I'm going to put that in there. Here's some oregano leaves. This might be interesting on a base. For some reason, if I need snow, here's some, what is this stuff? Baking soda, thank you. Have some of that. Here's some kind of clumpy foliage that is a tan color. I don't think I want to put any real, any pebbles, any little rocks in here just yet. And don't want any large leaves. Okay, so we'll continue to build this here as we go. So in the bottom, I've got some blue Play-Doh that I'm going to use for my my resin casting, but I'm going to keep it in here for now. I've got a couple of colors of paint that are just kind of odd. A green and kind of a yellowish color, kind of a yellowish, I don't know what to call it, tan color. And then I'm going to start putting in my different grasses and things. So I'm going to use some of this medium length, kind of tan color. Here we've got some clump foliage. That's some of the stuff that I made in one of the videos. I've got some coarse turf. And this is earth tone. So that'll be good. I'll put a little clip on that one. I'll put it aside. Here I've got yellow grass. It's a powder. You can kind of see it there. An earth-colored one. Again, these should be good for these bases. Here is some late fall foliage, reddish orange. That'll be great for the wargaming, I'm sure. And I thought I had a yellow one here, but maybe not. Oh yeah, right here. Here's my yellow early fall foliage. I have some dark colored forest green bushes. You can see there. Then I have some really long fibers. I've used that for some dioramas in the past. And this yellow powdery stuff is supposed to be flowers in like HO or N scale, but we'll see what we wind up using it for. This could be fun. I'm excited to get going on these bases. And then here is a green, long fibers. I think the last what I'm going to put down here is some of this realistic water. Yep, it's still good. Because you never know. You just never know. And I've got these brushes that I think will come in handy for doing some of the work on the bases. These sponge brushes. So I'm going to stick them in there. And of course, some gloves. I do have actually gloves in the office. I have gloves up here, but I'll throw a few in there just in case. Okay, here's some Liquitex heavy gloss gel. And I use this especially when I'm doing any kind of water effects. I like to use that, so we'll stuff that in there. And of course, we need some, sorry for the finger. We need some PVA glue. Okay, we're going to definitely need that. And out here in the doghouse, my PVA will be pretty much frozen here in a couple of weeks. So it's important I put some in there. All right. So here I have some of my random pigments that I hardly ever use, like raw umber, Naples yellow, purplite, which is kind of a white, raw sienna, and this brown ochre, and then this red that I never use for anything. So I'm going to put these in here as well. And because I'm going to be doing some fantasy type stuff, this is glow powder. Glows under ultraviolet. Yeah, this is really cool stuff. You've seen me use this before on the train layout, so we're going to definitely throw some of this in here. Okay. Now, put some of these in here. Guess I should move this stuff over. Put some of these in here. And I've got some more coming from Games Workshop, but I'll put some of these in here for right now. I'm going to be adding some, some of these palm trees, at least the tops of them that I have. I've got a few of those that I've got a few more I got to pull off, and I'm going to put in here as well. Okay, so you got a nice little assortment here, including some that I've already primed. But the other thing I found was these glow-in-the-dark, well, I just call them glow-in-the-dark rocks. And you've seen them on my train layout before. But again, for doing fantasy figures, this ought to be really cool. So, yeah. All right, so these are just different rocks that I've had from different projects. Some have come off of parts of the layout as I disassembled different parts of the layout. Some are just pieces that I had poured extra and done some test painting on, and some, as you can see, are not even painted at all. But these will make some very nice rocks. I can break them into smaller pieces for some of these bases. So for most of my basing, I like to use a finer whatever. This is some stuff, material. Dirt, grass, whatever that came off of the train layout. As I did some different cleaning, you'll get piles of stuff that comes off. So I've saved it. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this this container here and a strainer. Sorry, I don't have a lot of room to work here, guys. So just going to take this strainer and I'm going to pour this in and tap it. And yes, I'm missing some of the stuff. I mean, some of it is going out of the container here, but for the most part, I am getting this fine powdery material that I'm going to use, and I call it scatter, okay, because it really is just kind of a mix of different colors of dirt, different colors of the sawdust grass that I have made, and there's tutorials on that. And I kind of do this until there's nothing coming out. And I'll save the thicker stuff for other projects, and I'll put that in a separate container. But I'll continue this process and get this fine mix here. So we'll be doing that. One nice thing about living here in Utah is we have this red sand that's mostly in the southern to central part of the state, but there's other parts where we have red rock and red sand, and it's really cool. So I've got a couple of vials, large, like water jugs of these, but anyway, it's been sifted and of course washed so we don't get any bugaboos in there. But yeah. Okay, this is a plaster rock that I made for the railroad some time ago. Never really painted it up. It does have a little bit of pigment on it, but that's okay. What I'm actually going to start with, you guys are going to laugh. Yes, I have other paints and pigments I can use, but guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to use this this wash here, this Rust Effect wash from Vallejo. Just put some on there. Put some on my, I think I'm going to use my old brush for this. I want to use my nice new flat brush. Use this old brush, and we're going to paint this on there. Start out with kind of a reddish base. Now, there's other ways to do this, of course. I could start out with a black base. This is just how I'm doing this particular rock. So, there we have some detail. Very nice. Now I'm going to go right on to this wash for wood that I have from AK. It's a nice dark color, and I just happen to have it laying around, so here's what we're going to do. Now I'm going to hit the rock with this. Let's get into the cracks and crevices and stuff. Okay, we're going to give that a few minutes to dry, and we will come back. I know it's hard to see, but look at our rock. So far, looking pretty good. These are just the colors I decided to use. There's a lot of other colors you could use. This is just what I decided on. Now that it's dried, I am going to take some, you can use any kind of gray you want. I am going to use this light gray by Citadel. It's called Rathbone Base. So it's a nice thick paint. And I am going to dry brush here in a minute, once I get the brush dry enough. There we go. I know, it's crazy, but it's what I do. Okay. And I'm going to lightly dry brush this rock. Okay, we're going to let that one dry. At this point, I'm going to add some PVA glue here on my desk. Just a little dollop of it. And some water on an old flat brush. Mix it into kind of a paste. And I'm going to start coating the base here. Get any on the side, I just wipe it off. Oh, that's okay. All right, now that we are to that point, I'm going to take some of this powdery dirt. All it is dirt from the backyard, from the flower garden, that I have sifted through a fine screen, and it really is kind of a powder. Get some of it on the rock there, and voila, quick and easy. Okay, now I'm going to use, it's called Gamer's Grass from Citadel, but I've gone ahead and I've glued the figure to the base using just some super glue. So there he is on the base, and I'm going to take some of this grass, a little tuft of grass. This is Gamer's Grass from Citadel, but Woodland Scenics makes them. Other companies make them as well. I'm just going to put a little daub of, even though they are adhesive, I'm going to put a little daub of Elmer's. I'm just going to call it Elmer's glue, okay? I'm not going to be politically correct here. Some PVA glue, and there we go. I'm going to put that in place. I've already glued this one in, but I didn't glue it in. I just set it there. We're going to head and use some PVA, get it into place, and once that dries, I mean, quick and easy, decent base for our figure. And now I'm going to take the bottom of my tube here. I'm just going to go around the figure, go around the base of this, get some PVA glue on it, wipe off any excess that got on the side. I'm going to put him in place, and of course I still have to put his flamethrower in his hand, but this gives you folks the idea of how quick and easy it is now to make really actually decent looking bases to display my figures. So there you go, quick and easy. Okay, we still have to put his flamethrower in his hand, but you see how the base, how it looks in here, a whole lot better than just being on a piece of plastic painted up. Kind of a dark colored rock, but I've got the effect that I want, and I'm happy with it. So there you go.